Okay, folks, there's a quick review of the Yoda figure that was produced by Hasbro as a part of the Star Wars The Black Series line of 3 3/4 inch scale action figures. Okay, the articulation joints were very minimal on this figure and took a bit of effort to get them to move properly. Yoda has articulation in the head, shoulders, and hips. There was no knee articulation, no waist articulation, and there was no wrist articulation. And what articulation there is in the shoulders is somewhat restricted if you have the figure posed wearing his robe, as I do here. And to be honest, I'm not used to seeing this lack of articulation on a Star Wars Black Series figure, and it's disappointing to see that there is so little articulation on a figure based on such a prominent character in the Star Wars universe. Okay, the robe is made of cloth, and it is removable, along with the belt that you see him wearing. However, I think that this Yoda figure looks better with the robe in place, so that's how he's going to be posed in my collection. Alright, the paint apps were done well with no appreciable errors to speak of, so let me take a break here, and I'm going to give you a close-up and show you what Yoda looks like. Okay. Alright, there were a number of accessories included in the package, so let me take a break here and I'm going to show you what those look like. Now, unlike the other figures in the Black Series, Yoda does not have peg holes in his feet for usage with a figure stand. However, that's not really a concern for me, as it does stand on its own fairly well without having to use a figure stand. Okay, first up, here's his cane. Now, if I remember correctly, this was known as a gimmer stick in the Empire Strikes Back novel. Unfortunately, this does take a little bit of finagling to get Yoda to hold this accessory properly, but once that's accomplished, it does complement the figure pretty well. Okay, next up, here's the knapsack that he rode around in while on Luke's back during some of the training sequences on Dagobah during the Empire Strikes Back movie. And here's a look at the flip side of it. And as you can see, there are straps that you can use with the Luke Skywalker figure that was just recently released. Okay, and finally, here's what appears to be a medallion. Now, I did discover after a bit of research that this is supposed to be a flute. And I'll certainly say that it doesn't look like any type of flute that I've ever seen before. And you have to pop Yoda's head off of his body in order to pose him wearing this accessory. Okay, what I'm going to do now is a quick 360 of Yoda for you and let you see what he looks like from all sides. So here he is from the front. Here is Yoda from the left-hand side. Here is Yoda from the rear. Okay, here is Yoda from the right-hand side. And finally, here we are once again facing forward. So overall, I can't say I'm 100% impressed with this figure. It's not a bad likeness of Yoda, but this lack of articulation is a bit of a letdown, especially because the initial prototypes had more articulation than what we received with the final product. Now, if perhaps this figure had been included as part of a 2-pack along with the recently released Luke Skywalker figure, or perhaps as a part of the lesser-priced Saga Legends line, you know, I might have been a little bit more understanding in regards to the lack of articulation, since the Saga Legends figures are so limited in posing options. But selling this as a standalone Black Series figure at a $10 price point in retail stores, that's just ridiculous. So therefore, I can only give this figure a borderline good recommendation. As I said, it looks good, but it has no other appreciable features to speak of beyond that. And, you know, now that I think about it, going the 2-pack route, that would have been a better call on Hasbro's part, since they did include the knapsack to be used with the new Luke Skywalker figure. So if you've bought the new Luke Skywalker figure, this Yoda figure, it will complement it even better for usage in Dagobah-themed dioramas. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.